Hi, welcome to Vinyasa Vida. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a raw vegan banana cherry ice cream with a cherry chocolate sauce. It's going to be really delicious and I can't wait to show you. First, we have a lot of cherry pitting to do. And I thought while I was pitting the cherries, I was going to talk just a little bit about ice cream in general. The typical kind of ice cream we think of is made from dairy and sugar primarily, refined sugar. And these two, in my mind, are pretty high up on the stay away from list. With dairy, you've got, the body's gonna react with a mucus and inflammatory response to a protein that's so big enough to nourish a baby calf that's gonna grow to 500 pounds in the first year of life. And you put that in the human body and guess what? There's some problems. The body doesn't even know how to process that. So, like I said, the body will react with mucus and inflammation. It's trying to buffer itself from the acids that breaking down this protein, or trying to break down the protein, produces. And then, of course, lactose. Most of us don't. We become lactose intolerant after age 2. It's the natural way of things. We're not meant to consume milk after that period of time when a baby is nursing. And no other animals in nature, I've said this before, no other animals in nature keep on drinking, consuming milk after that stage of life. But humans, we do. Anyway, and of course refined sugar. Sugar, basically, it's been devoid of all its nutrients because it's been processed. All the minerals have been stripped out of it so that it's this fine, pure, white, cocaine-like substance. And it runs through the body, wreaking complete and total havoc. So you put the dairy together with the sugar, and wham, you've got quite an offensive food, if you ask me. But everybody loves the taste. Everybody has happy feelings associated with ice cream. So it's best that we find a way to find a replacement for that. Because otherwise people are just gonna keep on eating it. This video actually was precipitated by a commercial that I saw the other day that completely shocked me. It shocked me and then it offended me. My husband called me and he's like, "Oh, honey, you gotta see this." So I come in and something about Dairy Queen ice cream day at the hospital or some such. It shows all these children in the hospital, in hospital gowns in bed, eating ice cream. Okay, this is supposed to be a good thing. And so what I'm thinking is, there's only two things that could be going on here. One, doctors have absolutely no understanding of the lymph system and pH in the body. It doesn't seem likely after all the school they go through. Or the other thing is that maybe they were sitting around and said, how can we generate more business? Oh, let's ask Dairy Queen to give the children ice cream, right? That way they'll never leave the hospital. Okay? It's terrible to think like that, but how could you not know that this is not something you should be eating if you're in the hospital? And this happens in other scenarios too. I remember when my husband was having surgery on his ACL, the first meal they brought him as he was recovering from surgery was a hamburger. I sent it back, of course. No way can your body process, or does your body need to be trying to process a hamburger after surgery? If doctors really understood the body, then they would be serving up raw foods, smoothies, juices, fresh juices, things like that. So I totally don't get that. And if somebody could explain that to me, that would be just great because it doesn't make any sense. Anyway. So I'm putting all these cherries because we're going to make an ice cream that's dairy-free, sugar-free, and not only that, it's going to be very good for you. It's going to help the body to heal and it's going to nourish it and cause it to flourish and not take it back down. So while I'm putting these cherries, I'll show you. You can make any kind of flavor ice cream you want this way. You can use peaches, you can use strawberries, blueberries, whatever you choose. I'm going with cherries because I have an abundance of them right now, which is great. We love cherries. And so I'm pitting them. And I'll show you my cherry pitter way up close. So I'm just gonna press this. It'll shoot the pit out. Let's see if I can get up close there. And it's got this great splash guard, although that one somehow just splashed me. So that if you don't want to be bespeckled with cherry splatter, then you would use one with the splash guard. If you don't have a splash guard on your pitter, then just maybe hold it down low like I'm doing into a coffee mug, and that should prevent that. Anyway, so let's get started, and I'll show you what you're gonna need for this recipe. Okay, so what you're gonna need for the cherry chocolate sauce, you're gonna need some pitted cherries, maybe 1.5 cups. You're gonna need some raw cacao powder or carrot powder, and you're going to need some pitted dates. Okay, the dates I'm going to be using today are Khadrawis. I get them from Shields Date Garden, and I buy them in bulk. I think I get a really good price. It's the best price I've found anyway so far. They are probably in between. You know, Deglet dates are pretty dry, but these are more moist, but they're not like a medjool date that's super moist. They work pretty well for this. So. Okay, so pitted dates, and a little bit of coconut oil. Okay, that's what we're gonna need for the sauce that's gonna go on top. For the actual ice cream, you're going to need frozen banana chunks, and you'll need more cherries and more dates. So it's pretty simple. If you have these 5 ingredients, then you can make this. Okay? So the first thing that we need to do is to put our cherries in. Like I said, about 1.5 cups. Next, I'm going to put the dates in. I'm probably using maybe 1/2 cup of dates. And then I'm going to use a little bit of coconut oil. You can make this without the coconut oil, or you could use an avocado and get the same results. If you don't want any fat in it, then you can omit those. The texture is going to be a little bit different. I like it better with coconut oil or avocado in it. Okay. I think I just put like a couple of, this is going to be really chocolatey, a couple of tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons of cacao in there. And now we're going to blend it up. You're going to need a high-powered blender for this, because when we get to the part with the frozen bananas, it doesn't go so well in a not high-powered blender. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I just finished blending this, and I blended it on high for quite a few seconds so that it would come out pretty smooth. I'm going to pour it into this bowl. Okay, so you can maybe see the consistency here. It's kind of liquidy, just like a chocolate sauce. Okay, so look at that. It's going to be really delicious. Now we'll move on to the bananas. Let me talk about the bananas for just a minute. It's going to be important that your bananas are thawed just a little bit. When I put these in the freezer, I usually I peel them and then break them into 3 or 4 chunks and put them in the freezer in a bag. And then you'll want to get them out, and they need to sit out for probably 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes. You don't want to get them too thawed, or else you're just going to end up with a cold smoothie. So there's kind of a sweet point that you want to get to. If it's not thawed enough, then you're going to have some big problems with your blender. And actually, this is my second time to do this video because I had that exact problem. I was rushing, I didn't want to wait for them to thaw, and I put a huge chunk in my Vitamix, and then it was just this epic battle between me and the large chunk of banana. You can tell because the bananas will freeze in one big chunk, but when you can start to break them apart, that's probably about right. So we're going to let them sit for a little bit longer, and we're going to need more pitted cherries. I'm going to be using dates, But this is optional. The pitted dates for the ice cream is optional. This is something that our family really likes. Just the texture that kind of chopped up dates adds. It makes it a little bit sweeter, but you can certainly just have bananas and another kind of fruit, or you can have even just bananas. You don't have to have the dates in there. I'm still waiting for my bananas to thaw, but something that I thought was worth mentioning. When you're pitting cherries or dates, make sure you get the pit out. It's a good thing I was checking, and I got a cherry, still had a pit in it. And that's pretty disastrous because the Vitamix is going to try to chop that up, and you're going to end up with little bits of cherry seed fragments in there. It's not very good that way. Anyway, you might want to taste test some of your cherries. My cherries pitted, I have dates pitted, and I have my bananas thawed, and I kind of broke them up into what I am hoping are manageable chunks. We're going to start off with the wettest ingredient first. So I'm putting the cherries in, because I know those will blend easily. Next, I'm going to put in the dates. And now I'm going to put in a few of the bananas. I like to do a few at a time. It's actually... I think the banana ice cream does much better in a food processor, but my food processor is broken right now, so it works in the Vitamix, but you have to be kind of careful how you do it. So we're going to turn the Vitamix on a speed that's not too high, but it does need to be enough that it's not going to strain the motor because you've barely got it going. So I'm going to turn it to like maybe a 3 or 4. You're going to have to use your blender. Work it down in there. Uh-oh, I hear a pit. I think I got a cherry pit in there. That may just be the dates. I don't know. Okay, so it's blended enough. I'm going to add some more bananas. So, one good thing about the Vitamix is that if the motor gets too hot, which it can do sometimes when you're making this, it's going to shut off by itself to save itself. And mine didn't shut off, fortunately. I had it on pretty low. The other good thing about having it on the low speed, I hear that cherry pit in there, but it wasn't strong enough to chop it up. So hopefully we'll just be careful eating it and nobody will bite down on that. Okay, so let's dish it. I don't know if you can see this, but you might notice I left it, you know, it's blended, but it's kind of chunky too. Like maybe the pieces of the cherries and the dates and even some banana chunks are still in there, which is the way we like it. Doesn't that look good? I'm gonna put that in here. Okay, and then after that, we're going to take the chocolate sauce that we made and just kind of drizzle that around on there. Oh, that's going to be awesome. I made a really big bowl, so I don't know if I'm going to be sharing with my kids. And then, I should have done this already, but what's great is to add a few more cherries. That is just going to be delicious. And what's great about it is that you can eat it for breakfast, or for lunch, or for dinner. Feed it to your children for lunch, or even breakfast. And it's going to be great for them. It's all fruit. It's all great ingredients. Healthy and nourishing. And it's going to give your body an alkaline pH. So it won't be like you're eating battery acid, which is what you would be doing if you ate normal ice cream for breakfast. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more. Thanks. Bye.